Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Tuesday's Market Intel Brief. Here at Top Gun Options, hopefully you had a great President's Day. Obviously, Hillary Clinton did not. Welcome aboard. My name is Matthew Buckley. My call sign is Wiz. Good looking Apple trade, up nearly $1,000 since our live trade brief this morning. It's a bullish trade. Wiz, what have you been on the other side of the moon for the past day? Apple came out and warned lower guidance, and China's imploding, and coronavirus, and the stock is recovering very, very nicely, only down about 1.5%. Folks, let's take a look at a daily chart of Apple. You just got to smoke the opium. Look at this. Gap down. We put on a bull put spread right there, and the thing hasn't looked back and has recovered nicely. So nice, good looking trade right there. And then we also bought some Gilead calls. We're going to talk about that in a couple minutes, and also put a little bull put spread on the Chinese ETF. What? What are you, nuts? Yep, I am. Let's talk through the bad first, and then we'll talk through why nobody cares about the bad, except me, who bought another AR-15 and more supplies. Japan will use HIV drugs to treat coronavirus. Anybody want to take a wild guess? Actually, it's not a wild guess. An educated guess as to why Japan's doing this? Well, HIV drugs can be used to fight, these type of viruses. No. They are using HIV drugs because most likely this was a biological weapon released accidentally by bat bite. Hey, quick question. If you wanted to end about a year of Hong Kong protests, how would you do that? By forcing everybody to stay inside and not going Tiananmen Square and having the world come down on you? How would you invade Taiwan, an island nation? Well, not a nation, it's a renegade province. If you're China, if you're Taiwan, you're your own nation. How would you do that? Without incurring the wrath of the United States, who has a Defense of Taiwan agreement? Folks, this was somebody's bad chemistry experiment going amok. They had coronavirus, folks, normal type of flu thing we could deal with. Well, guess what? The Chinese kind of accidentally went boom and put a little HIV to try and make this some sort of crazy crap, and they did. And it got out. So now, why are world governments doing this or starting to go, maybe we should use some HIV drugs to try and fight this? If that's your last or worst case scenario, we're just going to throw the kitchen sink at this. It's bad. Hey, and great news, the United States of America broke quarantine. Let me say that again slowly. So 14 people left that Diamond Princess. Now there's 542 people infected aboard. What did I say? It was a week and a half ago. I said what? There's 4 people infected? I said there's 3,700 people infected. You're on a cruise ship, folks. If there's one, there's all of them. This thing is it's going to be, eventually, I think the U.S. or Japanese Navy is just going to sink it when everybody finally, if they ever get off this thing. It will never be used again. You want to go cruise on the Diamond Princess? So anyway, 14 Americans who initially tested negative, tested positive, and left. And the one lady you can see is chanting like USA, USA, because she was so happy she was leaving, didn't have a mask on, and was infected. We broke quarantine, folks, the United States of America. You know how pissed the Japanese public and media are? And what happened to them? They are in the United States. Last week, ladies and gentlemen, what did I brief you on? I briefed you on the nearly 50 tweets that Donald J. Trump, not counting media appearances on Fox and other media, when Barack Hussein Obama was president and he was bringing a couple, like 1 or 2 Ebola patients in. Remember that? Donald Trump was going nuts. What an idiot Obama is. Do not let some infected person back into our country. Blah, 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 blah. 50 tweets. Getting on board Air Force One today, the President of the United States. I think Xi's doing a professional job, and he loves his country. He loves the Chinese people. I about fell out of my chair. This president is lying to you. He knows exactly what's going on in China. The only reason, and I'm going to tell you this, that I know this for a fact, that they flew these infected people back to America is to get blood samples. Contrary, so folks, we're 2 months into this thing. This week, the WHO is actually getting to fly people into China. The only WHO dude that's been allowed in China is the director, who's a Chinese puppet. They haven't even been in there, folks. And remember, the WHO is a political organization. Who's the number one donor to the WHO? You guessed it, China. The WHO ain't the CDC, folks. The CDC is our CDC, man. They haven't been allowed in China. Why? The Chinese are burning the bodies. They don't want any blood samples. They don't want any autopsies, folks. Fact. Okay? So, some people with stars on their shoulders said, Mr. President, we probably want to get these people home and see what this thing is. Why hasn't he said, Russia, folks, Russia, the first country to ban all Chinese, you know how big Russia is? You know how big China is? You're not allowed into Russia if you're Chinese. What? Holy crap, folks. Yeah. So there goes China, just completely shutting down their country to the Chinese. Saturday afternoon, I was over in Tampa watching my boy Jack play a game of hockey, and this was floated out of the White House. The White House doesn't trust China's coronavirus numbers. Did you see the president getting on Air Force One about an hour ago? Mr. President, does your White House believe the numbers coming out of China? You know what he said? He didn't say anything. He shrugged his shoulders. He gave a big kind of shrug and then said, I think Xi's doing a professional job. So the White House is saying we don't believe their numbers, but the president shrugs. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't believe the Chinese government, and I do not believe our government. Wall Street Journal. Around lunchtime, this was my lunchtime viewing. Why China's official coronavirus numbers may not tell the whole picture. You think? And again, I said, Senator Cotton, I can't believe how bad these reporters are. It's all about Bernie, Bloomberg, the debates, the pardons today, politics and Mueller and this and impeachment. I'd be like, Mr. President, Senator Tom Cotton from Arkansas. I think he's on the Armed Services and Intelligence Committee in the Senate. He's your biggest supporter. The guy doesn't carry a bucket of water for you. He carries the pool. He's saying this is a biological weapon that was released. And China's refusing to hand over any evidence. Mr. President, is Tom Cotton lying? Why hasn't the press asked the president that question? China destroys $600 million in cash. I saw this last week, folks, at Chinese banks when they finally reopened. There was people like spraying disinfectant all over their cash, folks. They do not want people to use cash. They're burning it. Must be nice to be able to burn cash. Reminds me, get bullish on Visa. We got bullish on Visa last week. It's a great trade. Look at that. We have a bull put spread on Visa that's printing money. This thing's going to go higher. They're burning cash, ladies and gentlemen. If or when this thing really breaks out in America, you think you want to be handling some dude's $20 bill that's coughing and sniffling? The answer is nope. Bullish on Visa. There's your free trade for the day. Okay, Wiz, in the past 10 minutes, you sufficiently scared the shit out of me. You ready for this? Nobody cares. The Federal Reserve, the People's Bank of China, central banks are going to keep printing money into these markets no matter what. So why is the Federal Reserve and the People's Bank of China printing money into these markets when nothing's wrong? Everything's super fantastic, fun time contained, Wiz. You're nuts. You're a tinfoil hat wearing black helicopter conspiracy theorist. No, I'm not. I'm talking to a lot of smart people who are in this and involved in it. And guess what? I am telling you the truth. But nobody cares. I was wrong. Folks, this was the last time the market traded reality. Right there. Holy crap. Dead cat bounce. Holy cat. Short squeeze. Central banks. That is what's going on here, folks. This is absolute insanity. Absolute insanity. But guess what? You have to trade the market you have, not the market you want. Not that I want an imploding market, but it's disconnected from reality. Pre-2008, if Apple or any stock came out and said a fifth of our revenue is disappeared and 50% of where we make this stuff is closed, the stock would have imploded 10, 15, 20% today. It's not. We sold that bull put spread at the beginning of the day, and we're up about $1,000, $840 right now, and it's going to stay up here. Nobody cares. So nobody cares, ladies and gentlemen, until they care, until the bubble pops. When, not if the bubble pops, that's when the Fred Sanford, the big one, having a heart attack is going to happen. Until then, smoke the hopium and we go higher. We also bought some Gilead calls. I think Gilead is going to be at the forefront of coming out in a couple months and saying, we got this thing cured. Please, God, I hope that happens. The cure, not necessarily the stock popping, but please, God, while you're at it, also make it Gilead. So I would absolutely buy Gilead calls with both hands. We bought 25 of the regular April expiration 70 calls, period. I would absolutely be buying Gilead. Patients in the test must not have taken other treatments in 30 days. So they're having problems in Wuhan. Gilead's in Wuhan right now trying to test a cure, but you can't be already infected or recently infected or anything like this, so it's tough. But I think Gilead is on the tip of the spear buying Gilead calls. So we're having a great day here. XLY and Amazon we traded today. We also looked at FXI, which is China. We looked at Brazil. Tomorrow, like I said, we're going to look at Visa, and we're going to look at a lot of other stuff, folks. A lot of great stuff going on here at Topcon. We're also going to take a look at the defense getting bullish on the defense contractors. Another Democrat, Chris Murphy, that should be executed for treason. Chris Murphy met with the Iranian Foreign Minister Zarif in Zurich last week. He's meeting with the enemy, folks. It's treason. It's sedition. It's a violation of the Logan Act, but he's got a D after his name. So nothing happens to him. That's what's going on in this country, folks, is you got a D after your name, you can do whatever you want. A day of reckoning is coming. Chris Murphy should be arrested, tried, and if found guilty, executed for treason. That's why you can get away with these things if you're a fat, pasty lieutenant colonel in the Army. No, nothing happens. There's no, unless you're a Republican. If you're a Republican, if you're Roger Stone in your 70s or whatever, you get a dawn raid at your house with jackbooted thugs, 25 agents and boats in the waterway behind his house. And are you shitting me? 9-year sentence recommendation. I watched live PD last night with my son Jack. There was a guy who shot a cop, got 7 years. They want 9 for Roger Stone for lying to Congress. Congress lies to us every day. McCabe, piece of shit, dirty FBI agent. He lacked candor. So when an FBI agent lies to the FBI, they say he lacked candor. You lie to the FBI, you're going to jail. Telling you, man, the boogaloo's coming. There's another civil war coming, and trust me getting ready to fight off this coronavirus, I'm ready for it. And thank God on a daily basis we see what side people are on. The lines could not be any more clear as to what's coming. Know what side that thing's on. All right, guys, I got to get going. I have a 4 o'clock brief over at Timing Research, so maybe I'll see you guys there. Have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you are hedged in this market, and God bless. I'll talk to you tomorrow.